Hey guys, what much on the video on the Inside Spurs channel? Happy Thursday afternoon. I hope we're okay. I hope we're all right. I hope the day is treating you as well as it possibly could treat you. Obviously, only a few days away from obviously game day, the return of the Premier League this weekend after a boring international break. I think that's fair to say. So we're talking a little bit about some team news heading into the weekend. Obviously, we wait till about this time tomorrow, knowing the team news from Ange himself. But there's been some updates outside of where you would hear that. So we're talking about Bissouma. We're talking a little bit about Solanke, Van der Ven. We're talking about Bentancur with a potential suspension for Bentancur, how long it may be, what it's for, and a bit of an update on that. As well as that, we're talking about Archie Gray's younger brother, Harry Gray. Weird to talk about a youngster like that, but hey, that's the rules of the game. So I just want to say that if you're watching this and you know, subscribe, you're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And I've also made sure that today my mic is working. So there's no excuses for me to muck up my intro. The intro is working and it's here and it's fine. So there you have it. Afternoon, man, Goff, mate. Your comment stays here, mate. Your comment is in here. It's all good. Are we in for Archie's little brother? We have to. Well, I just sort of said so, Callum. Yeah. Afternoon, Tottenham. Afternoon, Spurs. EZ. The Wizard. How are you, mate? Biss has really been getting better and better the last month or so. Would be a blow to ruin the momentum if he's injured. Yeah, well, I mean, he's in goal scoring form. He's in much better goal scoring form than I'd probably say every one of our players at the moment, with international break included. So now we'll talk about the impact of that. Hey, Marshall, mate, how are you? How are you, mate? So let's jump in. Let's talk, because we got some decent stuff to talk about today. And I'm going to start with the Rodrigo Bentancur news. So, to give you an idea, Rodrigo Bentancur has been charged by the FA for alleged breach of FA Rule E3 for misconduct in media interview. It could be a hefty potential ban between 6 to 12 games for the Spurs midfielder if the charge is upheld. He has until the 19th of September to provide a response to this charge. So he's got a week today. Okay, so he's fine to play this weekend. You know, and in theory, I guess he's fine to play against, was it on Thursday, isn't it? And Spurs fixture-wise, hang on. Let's have a look at Spurs fixtures. This will give us an understanding. So, yeah, he'll be able to play against Coventry in the EFL Cup, which, to be honest, I would expect to see him play, probably. And then we play Brentford at the weekend on Saturday. Now, obviously, we don't truly know when on the... let's say if he is to be found guilty and the ban is upheld, and let's say he gets 6 games, you know, I'd assume he probably will know quickly after that the answer to the situation, maybe a few days after. So he may get Brentford, but after that, if he was to miss 6 games, I'd assume it's 6 games overall, not just 6 games within the Premier League. So he'd miss Qarabag at home, Man United away, Ferencváros away, Brighton away, West Ham at home, and AZ Alkmaar at home. That's 6 games. 8 games would be Crystal Palace away and Villa at home. 10 games would be Galatasaray away, Ipswich at home, and then 12 games would be Man City away and Roma at home. So he'd miss some pretty big games, I won't lie. You know, he would probably miss the Man United, Brighton away, West Ham at home, Palace away, Villa at home. There's some pretty big fixtures that he might end up missing in this situation. So look, we'll have to see. I mean, he's not going to. How can you claim to be not guilty when we all saw the comments? He's going to be found guilty, but I guess it's one of those. Yeah, I'm guilty. Hands up. The FA may take it a bit easier on him. I mean, the FA seems to love gamblers and all sorts, and they don't have to see an issue with other things. But you know, this they do. And look, he should be punished. We all know that. And I you know, Bish should have been punished for the balloon incident. This is another one that he should be punished. It's one of those. I think if you just accept it, take the punishment will be less severe. I think if he tries to fight it, it's going to be 12 games. If they just sort of go, look, just accept it, because if he does accept it and maybe he misses the Brentford game and then from there he misses 6 games, then actually you're looking at Brentford at home, Qarabag at home, Man United away, Ferencváros away, Brighton away, and West Ham at home. He'd be back for, you know, Palace away, Villa at home. He'd be back for AZ Alkmaar and Galatasaray. He misses a couple of Europa League games, which I don't think is the be all and end all. But it's one of those, I think, yeah, you should accept that you're at fault for that. I think is probably the way to go about it. Some sensational goals from Ali. Yeah, he was, Oscar. Yep. Hey, Peter, how are you, mate? Is Odegaard injured? Just watched Darren Bent's interview today saying Odegaard is going to play. I wouldn't listen to Darren Bent and think that's my news source that I should go with. Supposedly might miss a few weeks. But again, I think Arteta's press conference is out tomorrow, so let's just wait and see what he says. Hey, Fish and Plots, mate, how are you? I think it might be 6 games, but not including the Europa games. I may be wrong though. I think it's League and Cup. Well, if it's League and Cup, he misses a hell of a lot of big games. Because it's the FA, maybe he might miss all included. Shishing it would be only a fine. No, I think he's going to get banned. And I'd expect him to get banned as well. What about Enzo? He did something bad and got away with it. He hasn't got away with it. He's not got away with it, but Bentancur did his previous to Enzo. Enzo did his after him. So I'd assume the Enzo one will be coming about. I'd assume it'd be coming about, trust me. His one's even worse. Yeah, he's on camera when the cameras are everywhere, singing a song about it with all these other teammates. That one for me is quite bad. This is not great, but that one's quite bad. So moving on from Bentancur and the situation that we find ourselves in with that one. Moving over to Bissouma flavoured news. Obviously, Bissouma out on international break, scored a couple of goals for Mali. Potentially one of our most informed players at the moment, which I know is going to anger a few people because they just hate our players for some reason and they don't ever seem to want to be happy with our players. But there was chat about that Bissouma will be assessed ahead of the North London derby after suffering a heavy knock against Eswatini. What a name that is, Eswatini. Fair play. I know Bissouma's maybe not everyone's cup of tea. I get that. Maybe he's not. Basically, I think people look at CDMs and go, oh, Rodri. Look at Rodri. And I get that Rodri is by far the best holding midfielder in the world of football. I don't think there's any other world-class holding midfielders. There's Rodri. There's a couple of tiers empty. And then you got some people underneath that, right? And unfortunately, whenever you talk about holding midfielders, you unfortunately do get compared to the best. No matter if you're, Newcastle finished 8th or 7th last year with Bruno G. He'll get compared to Rodri. And he's not Rodri. He's a good player. He's a very good player, but he's not Rodri, right? We understand that. Rice has been compared to Rodri. Rice is not anything near Rodri. Rodri is a different beast, right? And I talk about how this Ballon d'Or, Rodri should win it. It shouldn't be a competition. There is no other people in that situation where I think they can compete. He's got the trophies. He's won an international trophy with Spain. He's one of the key players in the best club in the world, potentially. Statistically wise, incredible. Big goals across the pitch, right? Bissouma, we need just to bring our level of what we think he is just down to a normal level. I'm not even saying bring it down and put it on the floor, and I'm not saying it should be up there. Bring it down to a normal level. And what I would say is, he's not that bad. And I know that's going to wind people up because I know they're going to sit there going, no, he's the worst player in the world and I hate him. Or it's this. Settle down, Chief. Settle down. He's not that bad. No, he doesn't have to be your favourite player. I don't think he's not my favourite player. I think you guys know who my favourite player is. He's the best left back in the league. But with Bissouma, this season, if we take this season, because I know people go back to last season and they'll go, yeah, but look how rubbish he was after he got sent off. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, you get malaria and tell me how you feel afterwards. But when you look at this season, Everton and Newcastle, and by the way, I love it when people go, well, if we had a 6 against Newcastle, we would have won. No, he wouldn't have. Shut up. If you think that, that's outrageous that you think that, because that's one of the dumbest takes you could possibly come out with. He's actually probably been one of the better players in those 2 games. He was brilliant against Everton. Obviously, scores an absolute belter. Actually, he was quite good against Newcastle, which is quite funny. Can we get N'Golo Kante? No. Is Solanke and Van der Vet fit for North London derby? I haven't got there yet. I'm coming. Your South African pronunciation are quite good, mate. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, mate. Bissouma's passing ability is underrated. Absolutely underrated. When's Ange's press conference? Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Do you think Sonny will leave on a free in 2025? No, he won't. We've got an option to extend for a year. Who's the other grey? Karate, got to get there, mate. We've got to get there first. So yeah, on Bissouma, we'll have to wait and see. When we talk about Mickey Van der Ven Solanke, try not to listen to what Twitter's telling you. because there's a lot of conflicting reports. Solanke's out injured for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks still to come. Mickey Van de Ven's not fit. And there's some saying they're good to go for the weekend. If I'm honest, when I'm looking at the information, try not to look at it, because I looked at it and it was like banging my head against this wall right behind me. There's no definitive they're fit, healthy, ready to go. Now, the chat was before the international break when we played Newcastle that Mickey Van de Ven didn't travel with the team, even though he probably had the ability to go with the team, but he didn't travel with them just because they didn't want to risk it. It's one game. There's still another, at the time, there was still another 36 games to go this season. After that game, 35 games to go. There's no need to risk it for one game. He could have travelled, though. For Solanke, it was something quite similar. Now, Solanke obviously wasn't going to get called up by England. Mickey dropped out of the Netherlands international squad, which shows that he would have played. So if I had to guess, Mickey out of the two of them, Mickey's going to be more likely to play. I still think Solanke will be fit enough, at least to be on the bench. I still think he'll be fit enough. Obviously, having been injured first game of the season on that Monday, now being a few weeks on, with no football going on, you'd expect him probably to be fit, unless there was something quite serious about his injury. But I think he'll be fit. Asgol said that they would not show him in training if they are to not give away information. So looking at training videos and not seeing them won't be in any indication. Exactly. I never look at those videos and go, what? I can't see Solanke. Oh, I'm not one of those freaks. It's like those people that track players when they're on airplanes. You're a bit weird, mate. I want to check your hard drive because you're a bit odd. So for me, don't worry about it. Don't look at the training thing. Literally, you will know in 24 hours' time what the situation is with Solanke and Mickey Van de Ven. Okay. Sonny will be playing for us until he's on last legs in 2028. Levy will make sure of that. Wow. If we lose Sunday, the meltdown will be crazy. I mean, mate, we could absolutely batter the crap out of them like we did. I actually think we were the better team in both games, and we absolutely battered them last time out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It doesn't matter. We'll still absolutely. Well, I won't personally. Other people will absolutely lose their heads. What made you comfortable talking to a camera and keep the conversation by yourself rolling? Did you struggle a lot at the start? Karasi, good question. I'll quickly answer it so no one is worried. I'm not taking away from Spurs, I promise. It's just a good question. It was difficult at first, mate. It was a lot of pre-recorded talking to a camera. There's a lot of times that I was like, okay, all right, and stumbling over words and not stringing things together very well. It was a pretty difficult watch, pretty ugly watch, actually. I used to talk down into the camera as well instead of having a camera towards the eye height. It gets better, especially when you do live and, you guys are commenting. It's always good that you can chat back to other people. It's not always you rambling. I'd much rather do half an hour live than an 8-minute pre-recorded, because half an hour live with you guys, it's like having a normal conversation. 8 minutes pre-recorded, that you've been talking for 8 minutes and it drags. But I've always been good with chatting, crowds, people, all sorts. I've never had an issue. No stage fright, as you might call it. Petrosi's here. How are you, mate? You're right. Ange said that Solanke and Van de Ven were close to featuring in the Newcastle game last time. Indeed, Adese. I said that, mate. You are correct. I hope Ange walks and leaves this toxic club to wallow in there. Well, hopefully he doesn't, Peter. I like him. I'm Ange bloody in. I'm Ange bloody in, mate. It's raining now. It's somewhat sunny where I am, mate. I'm fairly confident for the North London double. Assuming we have at least two of Van de Ven, Solanke and Biss available. Spurs can't get overconfident Sunday. Agreed. If we don't win with their injuries, there will be carnage. Carnage indeed. Andy, I'm not a freak lady. Yeah. Andy, I'm not a freak lady. Yeah, that's my middle name. I'm not a freak. Andy, who did it? Who did what? But yeah, so look, on Bissouma, I think we'll have to wait and see. To be honest, I think he might be on the bench. I think they might have Bentancur starting that one, maybe. Yeah, I think it might Bentancur start. And I hope Biss is fit and able to start, but I think Bentancur will start that one. I just think it's a Biss kind of game. I think a Biss masterclass could potentially happen. So, but let's wait and see what the main man Ange says tomorrow. But yeah, on Solanke and Van de Ven, I expect at least one of them to be back in the squad, fit and ready, raring to go. Mickey would be my guess, but I think Solanke will be fit and raring to go as well. And they said that Richarlison's it's up in the air. We're not sure about Richarlison yet. So again, let's wait and see what Ange says, and we'll go from there. God, yeah. Fair enough, Marshall. Anyway, moving on to a little bit of transfer news. Because a few of you asked, and by the way, someone remind me tomorrow to have a look at my fantasy football team because I have issues in mine. Graham Bailey talking about Harry Gray, Archie Gray's brother, saying that TBR Football understands Tottenham are now keen on signing Lee's youngster and Archie Gray's younger brother, Harry Gray. Now, I was looking at some of the comments on Harry Gray, and a lot of I saw Leeds fans saying we won't sell unless it's to PSR. When I think he's the age of like 15. It's quite difficult around that time with rules and regulations. Won't happen unless they pay big amounts, which won't be done as he's barely going to play this year and will have a small role next year. You know, even Leeds fans saying, do you know what? If he's going to go anywhere, send him to Spurs. So Leeds don't hate us, which is nice. Richie is a Tin Man. He has jumped the shark with me. Time to bin him. Oh, stop jumping sharks. That sounds it's dangerous, Daryl. When Spurs finally win a trophy, I think you'll see the plants move and it'll be the biggest thing ever. Well, you never see. You know, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Hope Sal starts his energy against slower players like Partey, Jorginho. We will completely outrun them. Yeah, well, that's one thing. Obviously, they'll have quite a lethargic midfield. You know, obviously, Havertz will probably drop into the midfield. So, you know, you think energy-wise, I think it could be a bit of a Maddison kind of day. Why does Madders keep calling Ange a gaffer? Because gaffer is another word for manager. The bookies wouldn't have us as favourites, so we have no divine right to win. Our performance have been good, though, and it'll be great to win. I agree, Mike. Mike, how are you? Hope you're all right, mate. Bissouma should not be fit, please. Well, we'll have to wait and see, mate, won't we? We've built a good relationship with Leeds. At least one club doesn't hate negotiating with Levy. Well, they got a good deal out of us, to be fair. They did get a good deal out of us. I think we got a good deal out of them. They got a good deal out of us. I think it was everyone won in that situation, you know? I think, obviously, because he's 15, there's rules and regulations to when like he can sign professional contracts. As soon as you sign 16, you normally sign your first professional contract. And then on top of that, obviously, you can sign a longer term contract once you hit 18. Hence why Bergvall wasn't signed in January when it was kind of agreed. He was signed for this summer because then we can give him a 5-year deal instead of a 3-year deal. So it makes sense. Even though you know you're signing him, it's pretty much all sorted. It was in the summer, you know. Book the purchase rights. It's an American slang term for when something has hit its peak and it's now on decline. Well, there you go. I've learned something new then. Harry Gray costs 40 million. He doesn't cost 40 million, no. Dragajin will get a hat-trick on Sunday afternoon. We will be there. We have a history of rescuing Leeds finances going back to Robinson and Lennon. Oh, that's a shout there. Martin the historian kicking in here. Bloody, a couple of good lads they are, Paul Robinson and Aaron Lennon. But yeah, on Harry Gray, there's a lot of good positive chat around Harry Gray about, you know, how actually he might be better than Archie, which, hey, England under 21 is playing for Spurs, got himself a £40 million move. If you're better than that, and Leeds want to cash in, you know, financially because of FFP or PSR, they'll be able to cash in and they'll be able to look at that and go, we can get some good money out of this. But he comes from, Archie included, they come from a family of absolute sports stars and absolute footballers. So clearly in the genes, it's clearly in the blood. You know, I think with this one, I think we'll have to wait on this one because he's so young. You know, it's going to be a couple of years before we even really notice it, to be honest. He probably wants to see how Archie does at Spurs as well. And the family, even though the family wanted him to go to Spurs, you know, you do have to wait and see what it's like at Spurs, you know. I'm sorry, Annie, I have to read now. I go and read then. Lee Carson will know Archie Gray well. If he can get minutes for us, he could get a... first week. Yeah, no, I think, look, let the young guy build into his own career. Yes, he's Archie Gray's brother, but he's also he's Harry Gray. That's him, you know. So look, let's wait and see on that one. Obviously, tomorrow, to give you a bit of a heads up, tomorrow we will be doing the preview tomorrow. I normally do it on a Saturday before a Sunday game, but we're going to do it tomorrow. And the key thing is here, Luke will be joining me tomorrow to do the preview. Tomorrow evening, probably about 6-ish, I'd say, we're going to be doing the preview for the Arsenal game. We're going to be talking about it, giving our key battles and what I think the scoreline will be, all the team news to go alongside it. Obviously, we know some of their team news. We don't know enough about ours. We'll have to wait and see. We'll definitely be doing that tomorrow evening. Obviously, review Monday, talking the Arsenal game. Hopefully I'm coming on here and going, hey, let us cook. Let us cook. We're off and running, Follow down in the description down below, social media channels on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a follow. I'll be obviously tweeting when the game happens and things like that. So if you want to get in contact with me a bit easier, you can. Marshall had to create himself an Instagram account to message me because I'm asking him for help around the Carabao game because he's my Carabao man. So we'll be doing that. Have you ever listened to ATC Around the World? No, I haven't. Jumping the Shark comes from Happy Days episode in which the Fonz jumps on a motorcycle over a shark. Too young. I'm holding on to my 20s. Hold on. I go on holiday unless I'll be on holiday in a week, but I'll go on holiday and there's going to be plenty of these full of rum and cokes. If you know, you know. And beers, Spanish beers, a lot of Spanish beers. Everyone likes very appreciate it. Marshall. Arsenal drop points to us and City Tyrese is already over. We love to see it. Marshall, mate, I keep getting it wrong. Apologies, mate. I don't know why I keep getting it wrong, but I do. But yeah, Marshall's also a legend. So is Van Gogh. They're both legends. Happy Days reference wasn't on purpose. Not a motorcycle, water skis. Well, there you go. Gonzo, mate, how are you? How much do you think Gray will go for? It's too early to say right now, but you think homegrown English, if he continues that trajectory, if we're going to say he's going to be, coming out and doing really, really well, something similar to Archie Gray, you'd have to say, wouldn't you? I mean, Brighton bought Ruta from Leeds, who will be a little bit older, isn't a massive goal scorer, good player, but not a massive goal scorer, and they spent 40 million on him. So you'd have to say something similar. It depends. Spurs might do more business in the meantime with Leeds, Manor Solomon's there at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. Vodka Coke over rum and Coke. Oh, you are mental, mate. You are mental. Vodka Coke. I'm 28, mate. When I was 18, maybe. I'm 28. It's rum and Coke. That's what you want now, mate. Spiced rum and Coke. You're welcome. They'll be flowing on holiday. The beers will be flowing. The tequilas will be rocking and rolling. I will also still do the preview for the Brentford game when I'm out, because this is in a week's time. I'll do the preview game for the Brentford game when I'm out there. The quality of it won't be as good because there'll be no mic, but they'll have this. But I will be with Luke, so he will join me in person to do the preview, which would be nice. There you are. I'm going to play in the National Junior League this year for table tennis under 19s. Wish me luck. I don't have a drink with me, Marshall. Not Marshall, sorry, Eddie's. Marshall's in my head now because I'm so scared of getting it wrong. But good luck to you, my friend. Keep me updated, though, Eddie's. Angel Gomez is a must. He was brilliant for England. Looked a real player. But yes, thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. Enjoy, not Jackson Coke. Stop it, Gonzo. Rum and Cokes. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons regardless, okay? Maybe back later. If not, I'll be back tomorrow with the preview for the North London Derby. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace out, everyone. Take care.